So your brand. So this one is kind of the section that kind of encompasses everything together. Wait, Nolly's question. Okay, I know Spotify pays less than penny per stream. Given that, what are more reliable income sources? I will get to that. Don't worry about it. I got you. Actually, I don't know if I will get to that, but I will answer your question later if you could remind me when I get to the money section. All right, so let's go on your brand. So this is kind of like what I've been talking about before, but this is the package. Being a brand is the package. So what is a brand? It's an aggregate of features that form a distinct identity. So this is you. The box is you, the brand. So when we think of Mickey Mouse, you know exactly where Mickey Mouse is from. Look at that. It's the evil behind his eyes. You can see Disney screaming back there. You can also, did you know, if you Google Apple, you get the logo before you get an actual apple. Branding, you can beat nature. So it's something that makes it easy for the audience, for newcomers and people who have been listening to you, to kind of identify who you are. Having a good brand is important because it's marketable. It's like the fast track to getting a lot of fans easily, and it's very appealing. Just visually, just to see the entire package there. Just think of some like major pop artists. Even like if you're on Instagram or Pinterest, there are meme accounts, right? Just think about that for a second. They're a brand, and their brand is memes. And you go to them specifically because of memes, right? Lil Nas X was a meme account in the beginning before he was a musician or before he started promoting his music. So building the brand is very important. There's also a reason why, and being a brand and being a human brand is also very important. Think of Wendy's, who tries to like knock down people on Twitter, or like, shoot, that's the only example I have. All right, so developing a brand. So these are kind of like basic stuff, but this is stuff that you should have. So this is a good checklist for you developing your own brand. So logo, that's a maybe. Not every artist has a logo. Sometimes it's just like the word, but if you're gonna type out the word, font is important. Color scheme, an aesthetic, fashion, website / SEO. I'll get into that. And an ideology. So these are just basic stuff. You definitely can come up with more things that might define what a brand is. Yes. So let's go with like an image. So having a logo is pretty good because you can look at it at a glance and know exactly who we're talking about. So, I mean, you have that with logos all over the US. Toyota is that weird T thing. Tesla is that weird T thing. Kmart is the weird K thing. You know, you get where I'm going? So if you want to, you can do it. Obviously not the most important thing. Color scheme is pretty important. You can just do that using a color wheel. Just honestly choose colors that you like and stick with it. See how that goes. And aesthetic is kind of like the over-encompassing feel of what you're trying to go for. So like visually, sonically. So if we're going back to our boy George Miller, Joji Filthy Frank, his sonic pattern is very, like, it's definitely low fidelity, right? So his visuals also kind of reflect that. So his visuals are kind of shot in a VHS tape. So the consistency helps seal the deal. It kind of like meshes everything together. And then I did talk about website. So is that important? Maybe, maybe. Not everybody has a website either. But it is a good place to for other people to go and kind of understand more about you. So a big thing in developing you yourself is control, and you having control is really good. Is a good thing because you get to define how you look, you get to define how you sound, and you can control all of that with your website. If you're just using Twitter or Instagram, you're kind of like at the whim of Facebook and Twitter, right? Because Facebook can say, oh, I'm going to change the style of, you can only post square pictures now. You can't change the ratio anymore. Or no videos anymore. We're going to take out videos. Or you can only post pictures with one color. Like they can do random stuff and you can't control it. So a good thing, and they can also delete the app, or like I was talking about MXM Tune. She was on Vine, right? And they straight up said goodbye, no more, because they couldn't figure out how to monetize it. So what happens there? Like where do your fans go if they only saw you on Vine? So a website is a good place because it establishes you on the internet and kind of redirects everybody back to that central zone. The only cons is that you have to manage it, unless you hire somebody else to do it, and it costs a bit of money. I would say it's a good investment. I have my own website, keepitinside.com, and it's pretty basic, so that I generally don't have to upkeep it as much. Yeah, but yeah, and then on the bottom you can see the different uses that you have. Do I talk about SEO? Okay. Another thing is SEO. So what is SEO? It's search engine optimization, and there are a whole bunch of courses on how to develop like SEO. So when I'm talking about that, yeah, we'll take a break after we get there. When I talk about SEO, I'm talking about if they type your artist name on Google, what pops up? And if you aren't the first thing that pops up, you need to fix that. And a website can help reinforce the kind of like the search engine, so that when people are searching for you, your website pops up, or your Twitter pops up, your artist profile pops up on the side. So you want that to happen to you, because then you are more established as an artist and people will take you more seriously. Spotify will take you more seriously. Some of these other things, like you as a brand, ideology wise, kind of things that you want to achieve outside of music, or ideas that you think are valuable, those things are also going to be tools that the other audience that audience can relate to and kind of align with you a lot better. Fashion, that's also up to you. If you want to align with a certain aesthetic and you want to change like how you look, it's not for everyone, because fashion costs a lot of money too. If you're already into that, you can use that to your advantage. So like inspirations and quirks, I'm just trying to think of like little different things. When you think of MF Doom, you think of like, you imagine the mask, right? Doja Cat, it's like really bright colors, and also that one cow song. Tierra Whack. I don't know if you know Tierra Whack, but they are like an absurdist rap artist. Amazing like music videos, amazing songs. She has a whole song where she like mumbles and doesn't say a word. I think she said she came back from the dentist and her whole mouth was numb, and then she walked into the studio and wrote the entire song and then released it. And it's a good song. So like these kind of things kind of develop you as a brand. And like make it you. You don't want to try to be something you're not, because that takes a lot of mental energy, emotional energy, physical energy to like actually do. So if you're usually like always watching anime, but you want to project yourself as a Chad, it's not going to work. It can, but like what happens once they find out that you're a Naruto fan? You know, nothing, you can't take that back. It ruins everything that you build. So try to make it about you. It'll make it a lot easier. You're wrong, Eric. You're very wrong. I love anime, okay? Yeah, so this is like my example. You understand.
Oh, hi. I had a question with the Spotify, like, you know, Spotify pays like less than a penny per stream,
Yeah.
but what are some more like reliable income sources that you use?
So when you're distributing your music, so when you're talking about reliable income stream, are you talking about from music specifically?
Yeah.
Okay, so so as of right now, there's no legislation that kind of helps standardize how much streaming platforms pay. So they're going to try to pay the least that they can, you know? That's just how it is. That's how the system is set up. But so you can't really control how much they're going to pay you. What is real is that Spotify is the number one, I would say number two streaming platform, the first being YouTube. Excuse me. But YouTube pays even less per stream. You have Apple Music pays a little bit more, but compared to Spotify, then not a lot of people use Apple Music. And then what pays the most is Tidal and Deezer. They pay a lot per stream, but nobody uses those streaming services. So when you're talking about reliable income stream from music, I don't think it's ever going to be like a reliable number. You're just going to have to like get a lot of streams. Like, of course, there are other outlets of making money. So there's ways to maximize the amount of money you receive from your streams. And I'll get into that when we get into the money section. But you could also, it's probably not a good idea right now, because even for me, it's not a good idea right now, but merchandise, touring, doing like festivals and stuff like that. Those are all other forms of income that come in related to your music. And then there's extra stuff like being a producer for somebody, mixing somebody else's music, or helping being a songwriter for somebody else, or being in the studio becoming a recording engineer. Like those extra things are more freelance stuff that's still not quote unquote reliable, but they make a decent more. They're not as insanely scalable as I say scalable, but like you can make a fixed income with all those other things. With streaming, the possibilities are insane. Like you could go from making $0 to making $1 million or $3 million per song. So it's just, I know it's kind of bad, but you gotta stick with it, kind of thing, with streams.
Yeah, so like for you personally, like
Mhm.
I guess where does most of your income come from?
Most of it comes from Spotify. Yeah, they may pay the least, but they do a lot in terms of like algorithmic playlists, and they have their own playlists that have over 500,000 followers. Like those things help a lot in terms of like getting you streams. um yeah, if we look like at exactly where I'm getting like my streams from, most of it is from like me actually promoting my music to those people. um like if you look at my charts, like a vast majority of my streams come from people's own playlists. So that like people make their own playlists with my song in it, or they come to my profile and then click on my song. So the organic growth is there, but they also have tools that kind of help skyrocket you even further.